Hello and welcome to the latest Crafty Simulations video. Welcome to the latest video in my little series of general aviation flying here in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Today's little video we're going to feature an aircraft that I have not featured before on the channel. This is the Robin aircraft DR400-100 Cadet. It's actually an aircraft that comes with the flight simulator, so this is not payware. And I'm also going to be flying from Burning Blue Design's latest airfield, Welshpool. So, as I said in the start of this video, I have decided to take out a flight simulator product that is not a payware aircraft. So we're not talking Black Square, we're not talking A2A, we're not talking Just Flight. We're talking an aircraft that comes with the flight simulator itself. Now, back in the FSX days, the FS 2004 days, again the simulators had what we call standard aircraft. And they were, on the whole, for the time of the simulators, all right, but you obviously got a better result if you had an extra company like Just Flight, A2A, all the rest of them coming out with their own aircraft, because they put time and effort into producing whatever aircraft it is they're trying to put into the simulator. Asobo and Microsoft obviously have the simulator to deal with, as well as obviously a wide variety even of aircraft. So even today we have a multitude of different aircraft classes, from the little GA aircraft you see on my channel all the way up to military and big heavy airliners and the like. So you can't really expect them to put a massive amount of work into it and to get the best result that you'll ever see on the flight sim. However, today we're going to be taking up this DR400-100, I think it is, Cadet, or sorry, Cadet even. It is a Robin aircraft. It's French, and I don't believe it's featured on the channel before, but it has featured in the background of a lot of sceneries because it is a general aviation aircraft. And when I fly from general aviation airfields, you do see this one parked up normally around the airfields. We'll just a little walk round. It is quite a unique looking aircraft. I mean, also I will get onto the wings in a minute, but it is a very sporty looking aircraft. Got wheel fairings. It is designed to go a little bit quicker. We've got a rather weird design in the fact that the central stanchion store nose wheel portion of the gear here sits to one side, so it is a bit weird to look at. Talking of weird to look at, it's those cranked wings. Now, the only other aircraft I know that has cranked wings would be the Transport F4U Corsair, and that's a World War II naval fighter, and it had cranked wings because of its gigantic propeller blades, and obviously would need to get the engine out of the way when the aircraft was on the carrier decks or on an airfield. So this doesn't have that problem, I should say, because obviously it's not navalized or warbird or anything like that, but yet we still have these cranked wings. So it does look rather different when you look at the classic Cessna look, and that gives us a clue where we are with the Burning Blue Design Cessna, and you get this aircraft. Sort of the same kind of vintage. We are dealing with an older GA aircraft. Now, I haven't seen too many of these aircraft around. I know they exist in the UK in real, but obviously I would imagine Robin found it quite difficult to get an aircraft out into the market when compared to the likes of Cessna and Piper, who were releasing very, very good general aviation aircraft. Now, speaking to it from a flight simulator perspective, we're going to take it out a little flight around the local area here at Welshpool. It's the latest airfield that Burning Blue Designs have designed, and yeah, we're going to see what it's like. So first of all, we're going to have to remove some stuff, if I can remember how to do it. I had it. There we go. Take that off. That's the one I normally forget because you can't see it. It's red, and you do tend to miss it. We've got a pitot. Just there we go, get rid of that. I think that's the last one. Now we can check things on this aircraft, so we can operate various bits and pieces of the aircraft. Obviously this doesn't really add anything to the aircraft, the overall package. I don't think we could do the rudder for some reason, or we could do the tail section. For some reason can't do the actual rudder. But again, it adds to the realism of a walk round in the way of like I say, you would check an aircraft. Obviously, there's a lot more checks we would do for certain aircraft, but at the moment we're not going to do that. So let's hop inside and see what the interior looks like. Things are a little bit different. It is what I expect. We've not got a GTN 750. We don't have a G1000. We don't have any of that. We have what I would assume to be the bare basics Bendix King arrangement of communications and navigation communication gear here. So we won't be paying too much attention to that, because obviously we don't really be paying attention to that anyway. But we do have a fairly simplistic looking cockpit. Obviously standard instrumentation of the airspeed with knots inside and kilometers per hour on the outside, being it's French. We have an artificial horizon, altimeter, an OBS, vertical indicator, vertical speed indicator, a compass, and a slip and turn or turn and bank indicator there. We have an RPM gauge. We have oil pressure, oil temperatures, fuel pressures, and I think that's a fuel tank lever back there. We do have some slightly different controls. We have our throttle unit is sat here with the double plungers, because obviously you could fly this in theory from the right hand seat. We have our battery and alternator and magneto switch here, battery level there. What else we got? Our light switches across the top here. Obviously this is all in French, so it is a little bit more difficult. I'm not going to butcher the French language. Carb temp, EGTs. I don't know if this is some kind of, well, it's a quartz, it's a clock, it's a stopwatch. Obviously in this kind of vintage of aircraft, you're looking at a map and working out your distance by time as to work out where you are in the world. It's a lot different from the old GTN 750s that we thrive upon nowadays. What else we got down here? We've got a mixture lever down the bottom here. We have our trim gauge, which is slightly weird because it doesn't really have a middle setting like a takeoff position, so it's just, that's how it's set at the moment. Our parking brake lever here. The on-off switch, which should be labelled correctly, would be labelled fuel pump. For some reason it's just labelled on-off. Obviously we have our stick, rudder, and that's about it. We don't have a propeller pitch, so it is very basic as far as things go. Now I would open the canopy, just leave it here, slides the whole canopy forward, but it chucks you out the aircraft into the outside view, if I do that. So anyway, I will get set up with my equipment, and I shall see you in a few seconds, well, a few seconds for you, and we'll go on a little flight around the local area here of Welshpool. Right, so just got my Trackir up and running. Pull out a bit more. So let's get this plane up and running. So we'll have our battery switch on. Obviously this is not, you know, the fully levels A to A. I'm going to keep saying that quite a bit in this video, but I have to make some kind of idea of the fact that this is not a very detailed aircraft. Anti-collision, then we'll have our nav lights on. Thank you. Right, so mixture can come up, fuel pump can come on. Got pressure. We don't have sounds for it, but we'll forgive that. We'll crack the throttle. I don't think there's a primer in this aircraft. Right, mags can come through to both. So lights are on, parking brake is set. And we're clear on the left side, clear at the front, and clear on the right, and nobody's behind us. Right, so let's get this aircraft fired up. And we have a good start. Alternator's now coming on. Pull the mixture back. I'm going to zero the altimeter because we are staying in the local area. We're coming back to Welshpool. Right, flap settings, we have two positions, well, three positions: up, approach, and barn door. So we'll set them to approach. We've got a nice long runway here at Welshpool, nice concrete runway, so we'll be airborne long before we get towards the end. So anyway, let's control check. It's very weird seeing the sticks do that, but it's accurate, I suppose. So coming off the brake, let's roll out. Obviously, like I say, this is Welshpool. It is the latest design from the guys at Burning Blue Designs. It is a very, very good airport. I think, to be honest with you, all the airfields at Burning Blue Designs are absolutely fantastic, and very good supporters of the channel as well. Right, so sitting at the end of the runway, so we don't need pitot heat. So I can't. Where's landing lights? Is that landing lights? It's very hard to tell if the landing lights are actually on, but we'll assume that is the landing lights. I'm not going to, like I say, butcher French. Right, mixture is set. No one's on approach. Now here's something we do have to think about. When I normally fly around Lincolnshire, we don't have anything called hills in the area. So flying out of Wickenby, we would be quite easy to get out of the way. We don't have any terrain to worry about. Here at Welshpool we do. We will be making a right-hand bank, flying back around the other side of this hill to fly over Welshpool itself, over the town. And yeah, we'll be heading back towards the airfield. So we are staying in the local area for today's flight. So, coming off the parking brakes, running the engine up. Everything's checked, brakes are off, lights roll. Power coming through. Max power. Airspeed's alive. Positive rate. That's coming up. Airspeed's good. Flaps are up and checked on both sides. Presuming they're landing lights, and they're coming off. Start our right hand turn. We'll still be gaining altitude, but like I say, we do have to be aware of the terrain that is around us. We don't have any navigation equipment that's going to tell us of the hills around us. It's all visual flying. Bring ourselves off the red line for the RPM. Bit of turbulence in the area is to be expected with the terrain, and this will be a very light aircraft. 1100 feet. Fuel pump is coming off. So like I said, this aircraft is not obviously designed in the virtual hangar to take the place of the Cows DA40, any of the Coronado Cessnas, the Just Flight Pipers, A2As, Comanche. All of those aircraft are immensely better than this aircraft, and that's not a bad thing. You'd have to classify this aircraft entirely as a standard aircraft, standard sim aircraft, and in that field it's a very, very good aircraft. You've got all that you need. Sat in front of you here, we have functionality of controls. We do have navigational equipment, albeit it's very basic. You are looking out and reading the maps. That's why I would say if you're flying this aircraft long distance, I'd be getting little Navmap on a second screen and running it to work out exactly where you are. You do have a stopwatch down there. I don't know how it works, but I do know how a stopwatch works. I just don't know how that one works. So you would be working out distance and position through time flown. Obviously nowadays that's not something that's really practiced that much. So Welshpool Airfield is just to our 4 o'clock, and Welshpool Town is just on our 2 o'clock. Always keeping out good visuals for the local area that we're going to fly in. Obviously we do have terrain ahead of us and to our right that would progress to be a problem if we was down a bit lower. And at the moment we are getting bounced around with these little hills that are around us now. Certainly a lovely area of the world to fly through. Something we don't have at Lincolnshire is all these hills. I think I flew into here with the DA42 Twin Star, the Cows DA42. And technically I haven't flown out of it yet. I think the guys at Burning Blue Designs are very close to releasing another airfield. I honestly haven't got a clue where it is, but if it's anything like what we see before, it's going to be something. So we are going to fly over Welshpool Airfield even, and we're going into a left-hand turn, descending altitude and into the approach pattern. We do have to keep an eye on the fact we've got a really great big hill to our left here at the moment, but that shouldn't be a problem. We'll be making a short field approach. Just crossing the airfield. If I just move over to the right, I might be able to see it. There we go, there's the airfield, just below us. So, swinging over to the left, we're going to put what I presume to be the landing lights on. And fuel pumps coming on. That's got down to approach. I haven't flown this aircraft before, so I'm not entirely sure how it's going to handle in the landings pattern. But we've got a nice long runway, as long as we keep good visuals, we'll be fine. I can't remember if I covered this at the start of the video. I have downloaded this aircraft onto my system. As part of Sim Update 3, we have the functionality now to actually download stuff and stop streaming it. It doesn't count towards everything of the sim, but does count towards the aircraft. It does take a little bit of strain off the internet having to stream a lot of aircraft, so that's how this one's on my sim now. So, throttling back. We've got to watch out for pylons on the approach. flaps are coming down to landing, and confirmed. And ways to set. We've got to keep a little bit of altitude because, like I said, there's a pylon right in front of us. Just balance it with the airspeed. Slipping in onto finals. A little bit of left rudder there on the landing, but as a whole, that's not bad for me for a first time landing. Turn around here. We're not going to use the turning point up ahead of us. Should be able to get round. Right, flaps are coming up. Landing lights coming. Oh, fuel pump is now off. So you can't really compare this aircraft as a standard flight simulator aircraft to the likes of the A2As that just flights, the cows, anything that's payware. Even the Caradoros at their 11, 14, 16 pound price point would be infinitely better than this aircraft, and you would expect more from them because they are paid products. This is an aircraft that comes with a sim. In theory, you have bought the sim, so you bought the aircraft. There isn't a great deal of options for these aircraft. It's what you see is what you get. But it is a very good aircraft, and I think it's worthwhile putting into some people's hangars. I dare say some people will look at this and go, they've never even seen it before, didn't even know it was even in the sim before. If you like flying Cessnas and Pipers and all those other good GA aircraft, it's worthwhile giving this one a punt. You know, I think that's the first time I've seen tyre marks in grass. When did that become a thing in Flight Simulator? And they were my tyre marks as well. Right, anyway, so magnetors to off. Good shutdown sounds. Mixtures pulled back. Alternators off. Lights are off. Throttle is pulled back. Batteries off. So there we go. The DR400-100 Cadet. I think it's worthwhile giving this aircraft a good look at. If you're into that style of flying with the general aviation, the VFR, it's a very, very good aircraft. It handles well. It'll give you a little bit of thinking about if it has a bit of conditions. Crosswinds could be interesting with this aircraft. And as you can see on this video, flying around with terrain, it gives us turbulence. It does get bounced around a little bit. But other than that, it's a very, very good aircraft, and a standard aircraft at that, I would say it's worthwhile having a look at. So, if you've got any questions about this particular aircraft, or this particular airfield, I keep calling it an airport, but this airfield by Burning Blue Designs, I'll put a link to both of them. Well, I'll put a link to the airfield. Obviously, this aircraft comes with the flight simulator. I can't remember if it comes with all the versions of the simulator, but it is available for the flight sim. So, I will leave it here, and I will see you in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator video very, very soon.